Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. Bow time, NFC North, your favorite, Detroit Lions. They finished fourth last year, Andy. They are the... as our friend Brad, who runs the Deep Dive Discord, noted,
with an iron fist.
It's the presumptive free square in the last to first divisional parlay world. That said, I'm here to throw some cold water, baby. I think that we are suffering from a common delusional exercise that occurs in late July, early August every year. And that is, oh yes, volume's fixed.
There's settings on the back of these mics I learned about. And we made some adjustments.
Andy's an amateur. He's a hobbyist in the audio engineering space now, which is pretty cool. Yeah. But no, the delusion that I think the marketplace suffers from this time of year is becoming enamored with the skill position players that exist on a team through the lens of fantasy football. And just kind of assuming that because, oh my God, all of these guys are supposed to absolutely kick ass. They are all guys I want on my fantasy team. Therefore, this must be a good team. For the Lions, it misses three huge factors. Are you ready? The first was the regression of quality of quarterback play for Jared Goff between 2024 and 2025. No accident. Easily explained by the absence of Ben Johnson. Number two, the offensive line that the Lions is trotting out there. The offensive line, of course, is famously a weak link system, Andy. You're not going to believe this, but there's weak links on this system. Number three.
There's a couple now.
Number three. This defense sucks out loud. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. I am very clearly comping specifically the coverage unit for this group as potentially as bad as some of the groups that were early in the Dan Campbell experience, where even with Jared Goff performing at a above average level, this was like 3-13 team back in the day, man. And there is absolutely some space for teams to look, kind of run up against this Lions squad. And even though the teams on their schedule are not great, this is a very soft schedule. There's room for those offenses, those quarterbacks, those systems to look good playing the Lions because, as rostered, there are monster holes. Not even weak links in this defense. There's flat out holes. You ready to hang your hat on a team that's going to start Chuck Clark week one, Andy, and at strong safety?
I'm a little rosier on the defense, but okay. I'm still terrified by what they're going to put out compared to what they had last year, especially some of the injuries that they're dealing with left over from last year. Pretty rough. I'm a little less negative on Goff than you. I thought he was still efficient enough for a guy named Jared Goff. And yes, the offense took a step back with the Ben Johnson departure. But this was still a team that won 9 games and had a lot of issues last year. And the injury wave that they had, it's kind of echoing a lot of what we did just now with Green Bay, where Sam Laporta's season ended after 9 games with, was it a back disc? He had to have surgery and he was just done. Brian Branch blew out his Achilles. He's super important. Kirby Joseph missed 11 games. DJ Reed missed games. And, the takeaways just dropped off the face of the earth. The defense that was 4th in DVOA, through week 9, when some of the guys were healthy, it was middle of the pack to below for the rest of the week or the rest of the year. And Goff did have a bad game or two. To go back on what I said, he had the Minnesota game. I don't know how many of those turnovers were on him, but maybe all of them. Do you remember the
yes
Day game?
Yes.
Where it's like this team is in contention. And to like still do something after all of, and they lose to Minnesota 23-10.
Goff played him out of it.
Yeah, 5 sacks, 3 fumbles, 2 interceptions, eliminated the team. And I do want to give him a little, hey, I'm sorry because of all the injuries, but at the same time, it was like the Darnold from 2 years ago where, hey, this is obviously the record wasn't even close, but this is a team that, hey, we can still do something in the playoffs. We'll see how you look late. You go absolutely pull a stinker on Christmas Day to the Vikings. Like, oh, never mind. We're going to write you off for the time being.
Yeah.
And again, to Jared Goff's, to his benefit, he's on his 4th offensive coordinator in 6 seasons here in Detroit. You had Anthony Lynn, you had Ben Johnson, you had John Morton, now have Petzing. And technically, if you want to count, Campbell called plays at least once, maybe 2 different times where he took off. He took over play calling last year, I thought, for a bit. So you've had a lot of different voices, and he's done okay for himself. And then, some of the retirements and injuries too. It's are we saying window closed? Are we doing window closed?
Well, I definitely.
Nah, I closed it. It's closed.
I don't want to get caught off sides on these guys.
That's a good pun.
There is elite talent on this roster, but yeah, I think there's 100%. After this year's of data is in the books, that the arc is complete. Right? Because Dan Campbell is the head coach of this team.
That's true.
No one denies this. Do we have enough data at this point to understand what Dan Campbell's value add has been for the Lions?
I believe it's his head injuries. But here's the thing.
Do you know where I'm going now?
Here's the thing. I know when we talk about gambling and sports betting and almost every other thing else in life, we said you can't be results-based. You got to be process-based. I beg to differ in the case of Dan being a 4th down gambler.
Oh, no question.
I don't know that the process is sound. I don't know that he's actually doing it based on like, hey, this is our best chance.
No, he's doing it because he put a little too much testosterone in his coffee in the morning.
Yeah. I think he had too much pre-workout again, but the fact that a lot of the times it's correct and being aggressive, I think in general, being on the aggressive end of the spectrum is better than being on the other way.
Well, your players certainly respond to it.
Yeah. Just because
there's value there.
Yeah, just because you're not getting to it the right way doesn't mean it's not a value add. And I think that's you have that, and then you also have
what is the value add? You're missing it. You're missing it.
What's the value
coach? Add? He's a coach.
He's a rah-rah guy.
Yes.
A player's coach. Yes.
Player's coach.
He's a rah-rah guy.
Yes.
He can pump you up.
Yes.
Yes. Just like Pete Campbell.
Pete
Campbell was on it. Pete Campbell.
Pete Campbell was on Mad Men.
Yeah, Vincent Kartheiser's character on Mad Men, just like Pete Campbell, who thought he invented direct marketing. No, just like Pete Carroll, and that was
Campbell.
Yeah, that's where I mixed it up. Just like Pete Carroll, eventually it's like, hey, you can't keep yelling the same things.
Yeah,
like we need a new voice, even though we've been good. Like it's time to move on, and that can be sped up a little if you don't have any success anymore. So I do wonder where we go for it from here.
There's 100% a world where we look back on the Dan Campbell arc, and it is clear that his style of coaching, player motivation, and just general like vision for let's go kill ourselves out there football took a very bad team with very bad vibes and not a lot of hope, turned them into the plucky underdogs and then the plucky overdogs, and now without a visionary offensive mind crafting this offense, they're coming back to earth. And we've seen it a lot. We've seen it a lot. It doesn't mean that they're going to crash out and be 3-14 again or whatever. They were 3-13, I think, his first season. It doesn't mean they're coming all the way back down to earth. But the idea that they're going to exceed expectations just because Danny Campbell gets the most out of these guys, I think that there's a potential that the milk may be a little spoiled. You can only go to that well so often. And if their results are not coming with like you just said, like if the results don't match the rah-rah intensity that goes on in that locker room, then there's a good amount of player quidditch. And it's there's a world where there's a stepbrothers moment this season in the locker room. And it's like, well, now the kneecap, the kneecap. Now the kneecap seems kind of fucked up. Seems kind of fucked up. Exactly. Like there's a world where it's like, hey, we're 2-6, our season's not over, guys. Right? Like there's definitely scope for locker room losing, and it's not going to take much, because what Jared Goff was in his career leading into the last 2 seasons was a marginally plus quarterback. His EPA per play, his 3 years in LA, and his 2 years, we'll give him 3 years, all 3 years leading into the hugely successful season they had, was 0.058 EPA per dropback. That's not very good. He's one-dimensional. He only can get you out of trouble throwing the ball, and he can't create out of structure. And he has always sort of had the problem of, if you can get quick pressure up the middle, he can make some. He's not even just making throwaways, throwing it into the dirt. He's doing like the back-breaking turnover stuff, or the he's not a sack taker, but. But he's definitely capable of full on field implosion, one of those days. And I definitely kind of struggled mightily. And I think among the quarterbacks who I think everybody wouldn't blink, they would say they are top half. I think many would say top 10 in the NFL. There's probably no one with a wider range of opinion. Is that fair?
What was your biggest reason for saying there's a big delta between 24 and 25 for him, like a strong regression? Because it's still like on paper, it was his fewest interceptions since 2022. He didn't really throw. I mean, he threw him in bad spots. That Vikings game, all those turnovers, they came in bunches like that. But 34 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He's one of those guys where he's like, a lot of the stuff is like, you're borderline top 10. It never gets past that. And I think, to Dan's credit, kind of pushing back on not pushing back on that point, but giving Dan a little credit, or the other people who are the grown-ups in the room making the decisions, they went ahead and just said, John Morton's not the guy. Like, we're gonna figure out something new on offense. Like, we had something great. I don't think that's what this is going to be. We're going to find some other people. And they went and got Drew Petzing. They brought in Mike Kafka as a passing game coordinator. I don't know, it's like hedging your bets. Hey, we got 2 guys that, have been thought of as pretty good offensive minds here. If they rub their heads together, maybe we get something out of this. So I like that they went and said, all right, like this wasn't what we envisioned for this year. Obviously injuries played into that too. Let's move on. And let's try the next best thing here. So I like that. I think that's a reason to be rosy for this team. But at the same time, if they continued, a weird trajectory towards windows closed, I guess it wouldn't surprise me because of 2-3 years ago, we were grading this offensive line as, hey, are they one or is Philly one? It's like,
sure.
Like what do we? And they're certainly not at that point now. And so the defense at certain times during the last 2 years, we were looking at that secondary in awe. We were looking at some of the pass rush pieces with a lot of love. I think we still have a lot of love for one guy, but the drop off in a few key spots definitely has this maybe similar to what we said about the Packers, where it's like, man, you get some thin spots here, and if things don't break right and they do the opposite and break wrong, you're finishing behind. You might be finishing behind the Vikings. You might be finishing behind the Bears.
Yeah.
There's a big what do you call that? The thing in the ground that falls like a trap door.
Yes.
When I couldn't think of the word I was going to say in the movie Porky's. They they drop it in the lake or whatever. Trapdoor.
Yeah, trapdoor open. So my opinion of Goff is from 24 to 25, his efficiency slid notably in a season where he was less aggressive and had less lower accurate, lower. He took a step back in accuracy. He took a step back in aggressiveness. Those two things happening in the same at the same time is problematic, and he became less efficient. And when all of those three things happen, but it happens in a season where Jamison Williams breaks out and is one of the best wide receivers in football, and Amon-Ra St. Brown is still in his prime, and Jahmyr Gibbs is taking over as the bell cow role in your running back room as those young talented legs there. Like, those are all signs that to me say, like, okay, EPA per play as the true proxy here. He went from small negative his first season, decent positive, career year 2024, back down to very good 2025. Like, dust settles, he's at like a plus 0.05 kind of career average.
I think maybe
year
just
this year
2024 is just 2024 is a bad benchmark to use, because you never thought you'd get a year like that out of Goff. And
I'm just saying that, like, if you're expecting them to hit any type of competitive high, that's where you have to be.
Well, and I think that's the question that you need to answer if you want to make your opinion. And you can bet on this sort of stuff, but your opinion needs to be what happened to Goff and how much of it was Johnson to Morton. And can we get halfway back to that 2024 season with Petzing and Mike Kafka? Or is it wasn't all just losing Ben Johnson? It's the start of him starting to trail off later in his career, which is crazy that we're already later in Jared Goff's career. But I don't stuff. It's just, I don't think he's ever getting back there. But if you get closer to that, then you got to be positive.
You know what I don't hate?
What?
Betting against Petzing being that guy. You know what I don't hate? Betting against Kafka being that guy.
I like Kafka. I'm not a Petzing guy.
Okay.
It's so hard to grade some of these guys that were in Arizona, though. We just had the same conversation about Jonathan Gannon. It's like, fuck, I don't know. That was a bad GM
Let's have
situation,
a Petzing
bad
sidebar.
roster.
Let's have a Petzing sidebar. When Petzing was working together with
he was Cleveland or Philly? Where was he? Petzing prior to Arizona.
Don't remember.
Don't
remember. I just want to kind of point out that when things were good with the Arizona Cardinals offense, a lot of it was the dual threat and the fact that the running efficiency was, really a huge part of making things easy for the quarterback. I thought I didn't see things in his specific sequencing or play design that were really differentiating factors. It was mostly just the fact that the running was going well was kind of helping rise the boats. The tide that rose the boats is what I saw. And guess what happened? The minute Clayton Adams walked out of that room and went to the Cowboys, all of a sudden you got less out of the sum of the parts, and all of a sudden the Cowboys got more out of the sum of the parts. And so I feel like there's a pretty clear evidentiary case that Clayton Adams was actually the, kind of credit earner for when things were good with the Arizona Cardinals offense. And that as soon as Petzing was kind of on his own, left to kind of craft from scratch, there just wasn't a lot of there. And I kind of want to pay to see him do it. Because like, if you can't do it with this schedule, with these weapons, then
not getting to the schedule yet, but this is a fourth place schedule. Remember,
if you can,
yes, elite weapons up here. So this will be a very telling year on Petzing, and I do want to dig deeper into some of the guys who cover the team for a living and maybe have a little bit of more know-how on what's going to happen, how much Kafka's involved in the game planning, because I am a Kafka guy. I liked, in general, the Giants teams and what he was doing there. I think there was some headbutting and obviously some roster stuff that wasn't great for manifesting success, but I am a Kafka guy. I'm with you on Petzing. I don't know. I think, could it be an upgrade over what we had last year? Probably. But I don't know that it gets worse. I think we can be in the same spot as like, this is a lateral move from Morton.
I still wonder how much residual there was from Ben Johnson last year. Because it waned. Am I crazy? Like, was the Lions offense more fearsome and more dynamic in week 1 than it was in week whatever? Against the Vikings on Christmas?
I mean, losing your star tight end didn't help that, but sure. And the offensive line under Ben Johnson in his last year compared to the offensive line last year compared to the offensive line this year, obviously big differences. There's so many moving parts. It's hard to say. I think in general we can say obviously losing Ben Johnson was a net negative for sure. And I think you got to base some of your opinions this year on how you feel about the Petzing Kafka ads, and that kind of leads us into the rest of the offseason. Because I don't have anything left to say on 2025.
I don't either. So what did you think about the way they handled their offseason?
I don't think swapping Montgomery out for Pacheco was like a plus, but at the same time, it was a spot where you have a really, really good player, and maybe you don't need two really good running backs, I suppose. Cade Mays coming in from Carolina at center. He steps in because, and this is another one too, center has a market reset. Some of these guys are making a lot of money. He's a good anchor, I think. That's a good plus for a offensive line that we were having issues with. They brought in DJ Wanham and Peyton Turner on the edge because you only have one edge in Aiden Hutchinson and need some help over there. Wanham's, I don't know, steady. He's not terrible. We'll get to some of the rookies that are going to help up in the front seven as well. But as you mentioned, the Chuck Clark thing, Chuck Clark and Christian Itzin, I think he was from Tampa. Those hopefully are just insurance signings once you get everybody healthy back there. But as we sit right now, there's some problems in the secondary based on the injuries that were dragging from last year. Roger McCreary brought in. I like Roger McCreary. I think he's good. I think that was an okay signing. And then you brought in some veterans, Larry Borum, offensive tackle, Ben Barch, guard, Greg Dortch, probably a returner kind of guy now that you lost Khalif Raymond. And he's familiar with Petzing, Tyler Conklin at tight end, and I believe Teddy Bridgewater is on this roster.
He is
not coaching anymore. He is, I don't know how old he is going to be. Departures. I think we're going to take a pause here so you can tell me how much the Decker Glasgow stuff matters in your opinion.
I think it matters a lot.
Yeah. It was a deliberate teardown of the old offensive line. The Decker thing was a pay cut deal, which they said, we're going to restructure this whole thing. We're going to move Sewell from right to left. He did play left tackle in college. It's not like he's never been over there. And then the Glasgow thing, they said, we're going to hand this off to Cade Mays when we sign him. And Ragnow's retirement in 25, it's the entire interior is gone from what were those great Lions that we had for the Lions a few years ago. Terry and Arnold no longer on this team. He was released recently, it looks like. 8 felony charges in Florida tied to an alleged.
Did you say 8?
8 felony charges. tied to an alleged February robbery. He did clear waivers. I don't know what happens. It feels like if there's even a whiff of he might not be in trouble, somebody signs him immediately. He's a good boundary corner. DJ Reader is gone up front, your nose tackle. He's on the Gigantes, I believe. And then Roy Lopez, another interior tackle, is not on the team. Lee McNeil remains. Anzalone, Tampa Bay, and Al-Qadim Muhammad, defensive end to Tampa Bay. I mentioned Khalif Raymond is a Bear. He was your returner, so you have to replace your returner. Marcus Davenport is just unsigned. He's more of the churn below. And I think some more depth at defensive end was Josh Pascal, and Pat O'Connor retired, no longer on the team. He was a guy who played a lot of special teams. So just some churn down below. And then they did extend Jack Campbell, which good. And
okay.
Malcolm Rodriguez and Rocky Sin, I think they did some contract work on him. So they kept some of what they need. But yeah, the injuries I'm mentioning, the Brian Branch and the Kirby Joseph, I'm going to call him that now. Joseph Kirby.
No, it's Kirby.
Lingering.
No, it's Kirby Joseph.
Kirby Joseph can't. Why can't? Sometimes you get on air and my brain just goes to mush.
You had it right the first time.
All right, Kirby Joseph. Some of that's bleeding into this year. Draft class, offensive tackle. This is the first Clemson offensive lineman ever taken in the first round of the common draft era.
Really?
So, again, this might be all my draft trivia might just be false, like the Packers one, but Clemson, yeah, it's not. I never see. You see these high-end offensive linemen. It's always like Iowa, Wisconsin, Oregon.
Oh yeah, Ohio State,
Denver,
sure.
or
Big
just
Ten boys.
or big SEC boys. But Clemson offensive tackle, I guess maybe instead of Borum playing, we'll see. Campbell's saying the best man between Miller and Borum is going to play right tackle to start the season. So it may be him right off the bat. They drafted an edge from Michigan. They traded up for in the second round, Derek Moore. 10 sack final season up in Ann Arbor. He's been competing with Wanham and the other guys at the opposite edge spot from Aiden Hutchinson. They drafted Jimmy Rolder in round 4 from Michigan, another linebacker at kind of a spot that they're a little thin at, and Keith Abney from Arizona State, a cornerback. They got a wide receiver in the 5th round who is not going to play this year because he ripped the shit out of his ACL in a non-contact OTA drill in June and is out for the season. He was in the mix for being one of the returners. So that, again, pushes Dortch towards that. And then some defensive line depth in the 6th round with Skylar Gill-Howard and Tyre West from Tennessee and Texas Tech, not respectively. I flipped those around.
Okay.
And that's another one where they needed more help in the middle with losing some of the guys. So they did let's take some, what do you call it when you hope a late round pick just works out? Kind of a lottery.
Hail Mary?
Scratcher. Yeah, scratcher.
Yeah. A scratcher. Okay. Yeah. You're an upside play.
So I don't know. Rate the offseason.
Oh, man. I hate that I'm coming back to this, but I thought the roster churn was not needle moving, other than we really aren't going to do more to try to address the interior of the offensive line. And I thought the hiring of Petzing and Kafka was a little bit underwhelming. So I'm going to give it a B- C+.
I think the big problem is that 21 teams have new offensive coordinators, and there was a bit of a market for, guys trying to find those jobs. Yeah. You had some competition when you're doing that hiring. I like the Cade Mays signing, to help that interior. I like Roger McCreary. The rest of it is pretty meh. And then you lost a bunch of good depth pieces and some starters on the defensive side. And I think you're going to be trending back towards the beginning of Campbell's tenure on the defense if things don't absolutely turn out right with some of the signings and rookies.
Did you mention they moved Penei Sewell to the left tackle from right tackle?
Yes.
Okay.
And that the competition there between Borum started like 40 games. It's not like he's never played.
I'd be surprised if they don't go with the youth movement, wouldn't you?
I think it'll be Blake Miller. I mean, you never know. These rookies, sometimes it takes a while for them to get out, and they'll say, hey, we're going to slowly work this guy in. He's starting by midseason, but I hope it is. I hope it is Blake Miller.
Okay. Yeah, no other real thoughts. I was curious whether we would glean any insight into how they felt. What did they think their standing was, right? Like, was this like a reload, right? Or was this just sort of like a tread water and hope that last season's results were fluky? And it feels more like the latter.
You have so many good skill position players offensively. You have a quarterback that's shown he can be definitely above average. You have some pieces on at least 2 offensive linemen that you think are pretty good. I think you feel like you could get back to the playoffs with this team. It's not like a full, we're going for it, but we're not rebuilding anything. We think this is a year we can compete in.
When are you going to go for it?
I don't know, man. The best team was the 24 team that lost to Washington.
Yeah.
That was a good team. It's just the defense at that point in the season had like 19 injuries.
900 million injuries.
And 13 in a row were to the defensive side. Like, they were starting guys that I'd never heard of in the secondary, and they gave up 100 points. And that was always the flaw with that team. What if they give up 100 points? Well, then they won't win.
They need to score 101, and they almost did.
It's a very fun game.
All right. Well, let's move on to ratings. Let me pull it up here. Unless you wanted to cover anything else.
No, let's get to ratings. Because I think this is
we could give a hat tip to our sponsors, I guess.
Oh, yeah, we should. It's Circa Sports and the Circa Sports Contest, Drew. Yeah. What's your favorite part about the Circa Sports Contest?
Oh, boy. I like that it engages the brain on what to do NFL-wise after my bets are already in the books. So most of the time, my week in an NFL week is pretty much just feed up and watch the market from Thursday on, right? Mm-hmm. And if there wasn't like a reason to engage on Friday, I think I would be a little bit, there'd be a little bit of a, football betting vacuum in my life. But instead it become, Friday and into Saturday morning is a lot of, trying to game theory the contests and get the contest picks in. And, I'm happy to have that because, otherwise my wagering is pretty much a done deal. What about you?
I like the part where I didn't realize I was in it until I remember that when it's like, man, we've been running kind of hot. I wonder how the contest picks are doing. I'm like, oh shit, I'm in the money. I need to worry about this now because I've played plenty of years and it's always been.
I thought you were setting me up for a long, thoughtful answer, and you were going to say the big check.
Oh yeah, no, I mean the big check.
My favorite part is the big check. Yeah.
I know I did miss the big check ceremony. I had a family thing, but I did go out the next day. A lot of fun out there at Circa. And that's the big part too. If you do win, or even if you just participate, you get to go to Vegas and go to Circa. It's an excuse I have to enter. I mean, I gave my wife a bunch of cash in her bank account.
Yeah.
Of course, she's going to be like, yeah, go out there, enter that contest again. Hate to break it to you, honey. It's probably going to be 10 years of donating from here on out before we cash again, but we will always try.
Between the two of us, we've cashed 4 of the last 5 years.
You had
in various fashion.
Quarterly booby prizes. Honestly, and a quick aside before we get into it. I met the guy who won the booby prize. The booby prize is the worst record. And eventually it's the same contest. Like, hey, we started so badly, I have to switch. And at that some point, you're trying to pick 5 winners still. But you enter the opposite 5 names. He ran so, and I think it was a team actually. It was a few guys. I wish I had his name. I talked to him a little bit, and then I looked at
better. They were worse than the best team was good.
Yeah, their record was amazing. How well they did.
There's a reason.
How poorly they did.
There's a reason. Do you want to guess?
I don't.
You don't want to guess, or you don't?
No, I want to know. Just tell me. No, just tell me. A lot of the people that do bad just quit.
No.
I think there are some people that don't realize they're in it.
I think most of the years, the losingest loser has done better than the winningest winner. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I'm gonna have to fact check that, but
the reason is to win in some key places you have to go contrarian, right?
Yeah.
If there's a straightforward
going against
if there's a straightforward,
we can't all pick the Rams. Yeah.
Yeah. Like guess what? Like, yes. Yeah. Even on the margins, like the 1 point moves across key numbers. Sometime, even if you're going for the win, you have to make key decisions about when to be on with the pool and when to be against it. If you're just going for the cold sides, you don't ever have to make that decision. Just go for the cold sides. You're like, I really only like one pick this week. I guess I'm just going to take the ones that have moved a point against me other 4 more times, right? Like that's not going to help distinguish you on the upside, but it will absolutely help kind of keep your baseline
that checks out.
Low on the downside. So that's my theory, at least. I've never heard anyone validate that. But anyway, go to Circle, sign up for the contest. Don't sign up too much because we want there to be some overlay, but sign up for sure.
All right, let's get into power ratings for the Detroit Lions, the final.
Yeah, hardest number of any of the 1 million numbers I've come up with so far is the QBOC number for Detroit. I went with a 6.6.
I'm fucking baffled by this.
I want to say that we could end the season and I could be like, God, remember what a dipshit I was for being in the 6s? This is clearly an 8 by the end of the year, and I could be like wide in, and I'm more convicted that this was coming back to earth. It should be a 5. Like we could be there by week 3. Like I really feel like this is one of the more consequential and less certain numbers in the whole process.
It's funny. We argued back and forth about this, and I have a 6.7. We're getting the same number. Like
I'm much slower than you. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of it is just the OC churn. Even though I think it's probably an upgrade from Morton, it's still a negative because it's new. And we did see, a drop off from 24 to 25. I just don't think we were ever getting to 24 again. And I think he's like the 12th best quarterback, and that's where he should be. So 6.6 for me, 6.7 for you. Skill position group.
Best in football?
I went a little lower right now.
8.0, yeah. Good.
For the Laporta stuff. It's fully cleared, I guess. We'll see. I want to see it. I'm going to put this closer to your. I'm at 7.1. I'll put it closer to your number once I'm 100% happy with how Laporta looks. But yeah, I'm on Ross St. Brown. 1,400 yards.
This is my number. This is my number 1 in football, and it's like actually by a gap. And there's like a gap.
Yeah.
I should
look at that on my skill groups.
What
I like the Rams quite a bit. I like
what Jameson did at the end of the year last year, I thought was pretty clear sign of breakout. What Amon-Ra St. Brown does is such a floor raiser for a skill group overall. I even think Isaac Tesla has scope to be a problem for people this year. I like Sam Laporta a lot. I think he's a top 5 guy. Jahmyr Gibbs is a top 2 guy. If Jahmyr Gibbs goes down and this is the Isaiah Pacheco show, we got to have a conversation about how much we adjust this. I don't know that I will have ever had a bigger delta for a running back getting hurt than I will this year for Lions. But if you are concentrating targets on those top 2 and spreading the rest on, because again, even Gibbs, I'm giving a healthy amount of targets, and his targets are freaking unbelievable efficient, like unbelievable. So yeah, this is short of catastrophe. This is your best skill position group of football.
Oh, I think he's your OPOI favorite at some places. Like Jahmyr Gibbs, we didn't mention him off the bat, we were talking about the receivers first, but yeah, I'm at a 7.1. I'll probably raise this after the podcast because you've shamed me into having this a little low. I mean, there is a little bit of an issue at the third receiver. Like it depends how much you believe in Tesla. I like the guy. We'll see. We see Laporta was cleared to play last week, but I want to see that he's 100%. And then the only knock would be anybody who's not Jahmyr Gibbs, and then also the depth behind those guys, because your next receivers are Greg Dortch, Dominic Lovett, Cedric Wilson Jr., Lucky Jackson is on this team.
Huh.
There's a slot receiver named Tom Kennedy, apparently, in the depth chart. And then Brock Wright is your second tight end. So the depth isn't great, but the depth is never going to be great when you have superstars at three of these spots. And Williams, Amon-Ra, and Gibbs are absolute superstars. So I'll probably be up a little higher on this. Let's get into an interesting one. The O-line.
Yeah. I'm above average, but I don't feel great about it. Starting the season for me, 5.3.
I thought my number was coming in high. I thought I was a little high, but it's one of those where you still have to give Sewell so much credit. And now he's the best.
He's the right.
And now he's a blindside protector. Now he's on the left side. He's the best tackle, probably. He's top 3. I don't think you can argue past that. But at the other spots, it's either a rookie or a journeyman at Borum on the right tackle. Mays, I think, is good, but he's coming into a new system. He's your third center in 3 years. Mahogany was dog shit in run blocking last season. Ratledge was dog shit in pass block in his first year. So there's some issues in the interior and at the right tackle. Hopefully Miller comes in and plays with some aplomb. I'm at a 4.7, and a lot of that is one person.
All of my numbers. So he's so good for both sides, man. Run block, pass block is so good. Any whiff of concern that he's moving left to right to left? I mean,
no. I mean, he played it in college for most of his career.
All right. Let's sum that up. I have a 66th percentile offense, which is my 8th best offense overall.
62nd, and a lot of that is my skill group's a little lower. So
I'm
probably a little higher than that when I adjust.
Defense is tricky.
Tricky as hell.
I like Alan McNeil. I love Aiden Hutchinson. I like Jack Campbell. That's it.
Yeah. I'm at a 6.2 for pass rush.
I'm at a 6.2 for pass rush. I'm at a 5.6 for run stop. I'm at a 3.2 for coverage.
My run stop's a little lower, 5.1. Some of it was the weird game scripts they were in that made it hard to figure out if they could actually stop the run at times or not. I think it's going to be average. McNeil is a good anchor on paper. We're going to see how some of these, some of these rookies and other guys they brought in on the defensive line are maybe more pass rush leading. So I think it's going to be average pass rush. I'm the same as you on pass rush. Run stop, I'm a little lower. And then I have coverage at 5.2, and I struggled with this a lot. Some of it is just I had better grades than maybe the market does on Rock Yassin and who was I talking about? McCreary coming in as a guy who was, brought in maybe going to play nickel with DJ Reed and Rock Yassin on the outside, but it's like, are you actually probably going to have to play some safety now? Are you going to be starting? Because we got Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch with kind of timelines that we have to figure out at this point. DJ Reed had a bad year last year.
That's because he's 30, Andy.
Well, and he was really hampered. And everyone says they're in the best shape of their life in training camp, but the hamstring is supposedly better. He can play a lot better than that. I gave him a little nudge back to where can this guy play if he's healthy? This is with Branch and Joseph healthy. This is like a pretty good unit Right now it's average, and I'm probably high. I'm guessing you're lower than this.
I'm 3.2 and could go lower. This is one of the worst coverage units in football, as currently rostered without Branch and Kirby. Kirby was, if I'm not mistaken, was ruled out for week 1.
Yes, he is. Branch is the Achilles. We don't know what the rehab. I guess
Branch,
I gotta figure out exactly.
Honestly, Branch is a super important player for them.
Yeah, he takes
good.
Us
Lord, does he matter for them?
One more piece I wanted to throw in there too is just Jack Campbell's one of my best coverage linebackers in the entire league. So I lumped linebackers in, obviously at a lower weighting, but he brought this grade up a little too.
Gonna need it.
Yes.
You got Tucker Kraft and Colston Loveland in your division. You're gonna need it. All right. Teams are gonna throw on these guys, which means they're gonna be fun games, which means they're gonna be in some shootouts. And I think they're gonna not, no lead is safe kind of vibes for me. Oh, my special teams is apparently a fun way too friggin' high. How am I that far off? What is the actual fair special teams number?
I don't know. They were the number one special teams unit in 2024. They slipped a bit last year. Bates missed a bunch of kicks. He wasn't great from deep, and then they lost their returner. So the return jobs are open. They could be good. I just kind of went neutral on this team. I think. Where am I at? 5.8. I'm above average. It's still a good special teams, but again, that's such a small weighting. Whatever.
Okay, I'm changing my number to your number. Coaching for both of us was a 6. How about that? Why not higher? Why not lower? I think are both fair questions.
That's true.
I like the motivational thing if it works. I like the 4th down aggressiveness if it works. I take that back. The second part was tongue in cheek. I like the 4th down aggressiveness, period. But I like it if it's process oriented, not if it's just gut. I like the some of the in-game adjustments we've seen at times from this group, but they weren't great last year. The pass over expectation last year was a huge group. What the hell are we doing? They were negative in terms of expected pass in every single category except after a rush for a first down. That is weird. And in general, they were pretty significant negatives. Didn't get that. And yeah, I think 6 is fair. Schedule.
The schedule. As we mentioned, it is a 4th place schedule. They are favored a lot. If they are on the right side of some of these issues we mentioned, if the offensive line plays better than expected, if Gibbs is turning out to be the offensive player of the year like we think he could be, if the defense gets back to healthy, those last 2 games on the road, they could be small favorites. Those could absolutely flip, especially with how thin Green Bay is, as we mentioned, and Chicago being a bit of a unknown at times too. So they could be favored in all but one game as they close. I don't know about that international game. We'll see what New England is at that point. And obviously the game at Minnesota could flip as well based on how good they are. But there's not any like, hey, you're just scheduled to get the shit beat out of you. Even the Buffalo game. I know it's early and their secondary is going to beat up, but that total should be what, 54?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's going to be an absolute Thursday night banger where whoever has the ball last probably wins. And then there's easy ones. As we mentioned, everybody in the NFC North gets the NFC South. And then this is also the 4th place schedule. So they get teams like Arizona rather than San Francisco, LA, or Seattle. They get Tennessee on their schedule. They have Miami because a lot of, again, we're playing the AFC East. So you get Miami and the Jets to go along with your Buffalo and New England. So if things break right, they just win the division because the schedule gives them a whole bunch of opportunities to play against teams they can beat. The defensive secondary and the pass rush, if it doesn't work out and they're in shootouts and everything's a coin flip because of the high variance of high scoring, similar to last year, I suppose. But there's a high ramp here if things break all right. The biggest things being the offensive coordinator hire working and the defense not stinking completely out loud.
Yeah, those are huge.
I mean, they're huge levers.
Those are huge. God, 7.5 with the Saints. Week 1's going to be tough to not bet. It's a bettable number. I don't really have a ton of this is clearly what to do here. In these games where they're favored as these huge favorite.
I have a theory on what to do.
Yeah, hit me.
So we do think at the beginning of the year they might be at their weakest. So this is maybe a little counterintuitive, but even if they lose to Buffalo, if they're 4-1 going into their bye, and you feel strongly about Green Bay or Minnesota at that point, and I think that's maybe an entry point for somebody else.
Yeah, there's only one gimme in their next 6.
Yeah, that Miami game is
that's the only gimme.
Yeah. It's not early in the season, so you don't have to play in the super hot heat, but that's your winnable game. The rest of them, even the Minnesota game at home, that's tough. The same thing with Tampa Bay. You don't have and then you have Chicago after that. Atlanta only 3.5 on the road. That's kind of wild. We'll see how that team's looking at that point. But yeah, after the bye, if they go into the bye 4-1 and you feel strongly about betting Green Bay or Minnesota at any point, or Chicago, if you think somebody else is absolutely better than them in the division and you're getting a good price, I think that's a nice entry point because that is the easiest part of their schedule by far.
Okay. Not a lot of teams here on this schedule that can really take advantage of the weaknesses on the offensive line, similar to what we were just talking about with the Packers. Not a lot of elite quarterbacks early on outside of Josh Allen to take advantage of their weak secondary. So, yeah, I feel like taking the points against them with a team that has at least weapons in the passing game is the right call. Right?
Yeah. Or just team total over on the other side if they're a dog.
Yeah, I honestly think hold your nose, take the 9.5 with the Jets.
What do you think that total? I have no. I'm way out of shape as far as
54.
Well, I mean, no, New Orleans Lions, what, 48?
49 probably.
Yeah, so let's call it 24 minus. Let's say New Orleans team total over 21.
Okay.
Just based on, even if they lose, they're gonna be able to throw on this team. So
it's not crazy. It's not crazy at all.
Secret team total. 5 weeks early, guys.
Got that one
5 weeks
early.
One other little wrinkle.
It's a 49.5 point spread. 49.5 point total, excuse me.
49.5, Cam. So team total is probably 21.5. Tampa Bay is off their bye coming into that game.
Correct.
And you are not taking your bye off the Munich game coming back from Germany versus New England. So as we mentioned, there's no cupcakes right after the bye. One of the ones where you're the bigger favorite, you're coming into a terrible travel spot. Tampa Bay extra rest, and you're coming off an international travel spot.
And you have Thanksgiving morning on your horizon, so plenty of reasons to circle that one as a
lot
sandwich.
Of reasons for Baker feeling dangerous there.
And yeah, by week 13, certainly Cooper Rush has got the offense figured out. Look, the Lions are not an easy fade. I'm not sure exactly how to do it yet. I just know that, and I'm not even that far off market. We had our market numbers. I don't remember actually if you said them out loud, but I'll just say it now. I'm at 2.58 plus 2.58. The market fair for the market fair for Detroit is 2.7. So here we sit, smack on. You had me at 2.7? Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
I wonder if I adjusted something. I turned my special teams number down based on your number. Sorry. Either way, we're smack on market. There's no space here. You're over market actually, and you want to adjust the skill position group up. So like it doesn't really make sense to be like standing on a hill and dying on this hill of the Lions are going to underperform this season. Like there's just not a clear path for that. But the idea that we get to mid-season and they are the fourth power rated team of these four teams, I think is very, very possible. Surely. And, if they don't win some of their divisional games, then 9-8 feels like their ceiling to me, even with this putting soft schedule. The NFC North is good. It's good. It's going to be tough. All of these games are going to be competitive. They're going to be fun. I'm worried about your schematic advantages on offense not being there. I'm worried about your defense not being able to put away games. But I don't know, man. The world feels like they're buzzing on Lions and that this is the easiest call on the board. That they're going to go from fourth to first, and I'm just not there.
Just a wide open division. That's what makes it fun.
So why bet the favorite?
Yeah, why do that? I think I'm going to have bets on two of these teams live at some point during the season. Live, like it's a live bet.
Who's covering Justin Jefferson out of curiosity?
No one ever
DJ
has.
Reed? DJ Reed or Rock Ya-Sin?
Did you see his quote?
If you're the D coordinator and you're drawing up a scheme,
did you see his quote?
No, what was it?
They asked him what's the toughest cornerback that you've ever had assigned to you?
Oh, I did see that quote.
And he's like, no
one really
never
singles
me.
They've
never had anybody single me for the whole game. Like that's just not something you do.
Yeah,
he's
you kind of can't play.
He's like, so I don't he's like, I can't really name a guy.
I don't understand the question, and I won't respond to it.
I will not dignify this.
But yeah, I mean, it's an incomplete team, and even with an easy schedule and with a 6 skill position group, 9-8 feels like where we're headed here.
I just worry it turns into, Patriots 2.0, where it's like, hey, we can clearly tell this team has some issues.
I hate that idea.
But it's like,
well, the Patriots division helped them.
Keep winning.
The Patriots division helped them significantly last year.
Well, I mean, we just laid out a bunch of reasons the Packers could underachieve. The Vikings are starting a new quarterback. We don't not guaranteed that's going to go right. Like if things
the Bears defense sucks too. Yeah.
If things go a little sideways in this division, and then you look at the rest of the Lions schedule, it's like this is a team we have power ranked as a plus 1.5. They have 14 wins.
Let's sum up some thoughts here. Lions for me going into the season around a plus 2.7, whatever. To me, that feels like the high point for them. Regardless of outcomes, I'm not going to be afraid to take on that team from a points standpoint. Packers for me are a do not touch early in the season. Bears scope for the offense to take this number way higher if you take another step forward with Ben and Caleb Williams. All three of those teams, Lions, Packers, Bears, are in the same bucket. High up, high ceiling because of the offense. Huge questions on the defense. Minnesota has a high floor defense, and I think they have the potential for a higher ceiling offense than the market expects. So Minnesota would be the bet on for me of these four teams.
I tend to agree too. Just there is a bunch of hype building around Kyler already, and you're hearing it from other guys. Like these quote from a former Cardinals coach where it's like, I wish we could have put this shit around him or put him in a position like this, because it's like he has all this potential. So I mean, if Kyler's good, the Vikings are a dangerous playoff team. They could compete with the likes of Rams, Seattle, whatnot.
Yep.
But that's
Vikings
a big what if.
Vikings 1 seed, 22-1 still. I'm eyeballing that one.
I still have it. It's funny. I have the page open where I wrote that still.
All right, man. Let's put this division to bed and come back on Monday with the AFC North.
Yeah, let's just do AFC. I think the quarterbacks are settled. We have Old Man Rodgers, Joey Burks, Lamar, and then who cares? Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's all so bad. Sorry, Browns fans.
I gotta tell you, man, I'm sneaky excited to talk Browns.